Now I have the honor, and believe me, it's my pleasure, to introduce Professor... Better? Okay. Believe me, it's my pleasure, as I said, to introduce Professor Jeffrey Kripal, who holds the J. Newton Razor Chair in Philosophy and Religious Thought at Rice University in Houston, Texas. We met years ago at a conference of our common friend, Richard Smith, who is a great sinologist. You were invited, and I started to read your books, fanatically almost. Professor Kripal's research revolves around the topics of mysticism, American countercultural translations of Asian religions, especially Hinduism, and the history of Western esotericism from Gnosticism to New Age religions. When I say revolves, the Greek word for this kind of intellectual movement comes to my mind, the periplus, the sailing around an island, the island of the paranormal, if you want, of which each of his books delineates a landmark. He is the author of 10 monographs and has co-edited 5 volumes. Beginning his journey with a book on the Bengali mystic Ramakrishna, titled Kali's Child, the mystical and the erotic in the life and teaching of Ramakrishna, Kripal approached various phenomena of esotericism from a large panoply of angles in his subsequent publications. This is again the periplus, you know. Among them, the authors of The Impossible, which might have some relation to today's talk. The title of the volume, he published with Sudhir Kakar, an Indian specialist in the psychology of religion, can perhaps be described as the common thread of his scholarly efforts. The title is Seriously Strange. Kripal has indeed taken the strange seriously in its manifestations and in Neoplatonic philosophy, popular culture, literature, and religious spirituality, as well as in paranormal or supernormal phenomena. A man of many arts, he is also avidly interested in film, where, and I quote, "We are back to Plato's cave, this time as the local movie theater," like that. Esoteric practices is as you have heard, is a default term in our research proposal, mainly because very few practitioners in non-Western parts of the world would call their arts esoteric. But regardless of the lack of an umbrella term, all of these practices seem to aim at making the impossible possible. For a secular modern mind, for a dogmatic religious orthodoxy, for communist atheism, to name but a few opponents of esotericism, it is impossible to predict the future by means of milfoil stalks, the Chinese style, or by means of astrological conjectures. It is equally impossible to manipulate one's destiny through magic, nor is there any way to justify inexplicable forms of healing. Nor is it possible to believe that there is an encounter with ghosts, spirits, or other uncanny or benevolent beings. Within the framework of this logic, the reading of signs is impossible because there are no signs and consequently no signification can be deciphered. Our message now to the skeptics, however, is deeply rooted in the tradition of academic thought. Regardless of whether you think certain phenomena and practices are impossible, the ever-growing belief in them already constitutes a phenomenon worth investigating. Jeffrey Kripal is the founder of the Archives of the Impossible, which collects materials related to paranormal currents in American history. Thanks to the archives, previously marginalized or taboo topics are now on the table, and the strange can finally be taken seriously. Thank you so much. The floor is up to you, Jeffrey.